Okay, so this week we are visiting my friend Kris again. She's been having some more experiences that I think are really interesting. I think you're going to like too. So let me remind you, she's only about a quarter of a mile from the cabin, and she's had experiences here by her home before. And she contacted me to tell me about something else that's been happening here over the last few weeks. So first, let's talk about that smell that you were telling me about.
I've named the visitor that brings that very distinctive odor with him. I named him Oso because he brings an Oso distinctive odor with him. So I call him Oso. To my nose, it's almost like a sewage kind of a smell, to varying degrees. Sometimes very, very overpowering, and sometimes noticeable, but not overpowering. But anyway, I call him Oso. He was here. This is the first time that he's been here in a couple of months. He was here one day last week, twice. I was sitting outside and got the odor, and then a friend who lived nearby walked up and the odor disappeared. And then after she left, the odor came back and hung around for just a few minutes, not very long. I never saw anything or heard anything, just that very distinctive odor.
Like the worst sewer you ever smelled?
When he first came around a couple months ago, it was very, very heavy sewage smell, so much so that I walked around the property trying to find if there was a sewage leak somewhere, because I couldn't understand where the odor was coming from. It wasn't coming off the river. I couldn't find any source for it at all. And then it stopped for a couple months, and then, like I said, he just came back last week.
Well, you know, during our June camp out, we had an experience with the really strong sewer smell that just came out of nowhere and then was just gone. You know, and we had been in that area for a week and never smelled it before that time or after. It was there, it came, it went, it came, it went, and then when it went, it was completely gone.
I got the impression that it was close by, in close proximity, within 20 feet or more or so of us, was my impression. From the direction it was, it was coming from back in there along where the stump is and the trees. It comes from right back in there every time.
Now, something else that when you came into the store the other day, there was something else you were pretty excited about telling me about. And, well, before you start telling me this, when you came in, you said you had something that you wanted to tell me. You had heard this sound and you described it. And I said, now wait a minute, I've got a sound that we had recorded last year when we were putting recorders in the woods, and I played that for you saying...
I stopped you first. I said, no, I said, don't prejudice me. I said, wait a minute, don't prejudice me.
That's right, you did.
And then I did, because I wanted to tell it to you as a virgin story without being influenced by anything you would say.
Okay.
So I stopped you, and I described it to you, and you started laughing, and then you played it.
That's when I played it. Well, and then I thought you were going to do that happy dance
thing. Oh my God. I couldn't, when you played that, and I was like, that's it. Because I was afraid to tell you, even though I've always come to you and told you my experiences. A lot of times I've been hesitant, even though I'm having the experience. It still feels like it's always a state of disbelief and awe. Like am I really am I really looking at this? Did I just see that? Even though I know that I did, I'm looking right at it. There's still a sense of awe. So before I came in the store, it had been a few days or had passed since I heard that noise, and I had been thinking on it, trying to decide whether to say something or not, because I'd never heard anything like it before.
Okay, well, why don't you go ahead and tell our viewers what happened?
Well, I was sitting in my rig, and I had a movie on. I was sitting in my easy chair, and behind my easy chair is a window. Now, but from the ground to the top of the window is probably 8 feet.
About that, yeah.
About 8 feet. So the sound was right outside at just about the 8-foot level, right outside that window, right behind me.
And now, is this the same window that you had the face-to-face encounter?
No,
last year?
Same side of the rig, but the window that I had the face-to-face was further towards it was not the end one. It was The
In the
second
middle?
one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it
Okay.
was a little bit different.
So this was at the back.
This was at the back,
Okay.
at the last window on the driver's side. And I was sitting there, and the closest thing that I could relate it to was like when you're a kid and you have a bicycle and you used to put cards in the spoke of your tire so that when you rode your bicycle it was like a shuffling card sound but really amplified. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
It was very distinctive, it was very loud, and it sounded like it was literally within inches of my window, like somebody was holding a deck of cards right outside, like a huge deck of cards that could be really loud, holding it right outside the window at about 8 feet. And
What time was this?
that was somewhere between 10 and midnight.
Okay.
And I muted the volume on the movie I was watching, and I listened for a minute and didn't hear anything else, so I kind of made an acknowledgement, not sure what was going on, but hey, yeah, hi, you know, I know you're here, thanks, cool. And I went back to watching my program, and then a little while later, it was the same sound, but it was not as loud, and it was not right outside my window. It was about 10 foot towards the front of the rig, at a different window and a little bit lower down. Same exact sound, and then at just about the same time, underneath the front of the rig, down, it sounded like it was coming from very down low, was again the same sound but softer.
Okay.
Like it's
Like a different individual?
like a different individual, like something like an individual that didn't have the strength of vocalization that whatever was outside my window had.
So you think there were at least two outside
Yeah.
that were making the same type of sound?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And okay, so that would have been Wednesday.
I think it was Thursday.
So you had Thursday. Okay.
I gotta look.
Because it was Wednesday that about 11 o'clock Wednesday night that I had something knocking on my cabin.
This was Thursday night, and the last ones that the sounds I heard that I tell you about that were towards the front of the rig, those were somewhere around midnight, but I didn't look at the clock.
Okay.
But that was the time when I said, okay,
Okay.
I know you're here, but it's kind of getting bothersome now. It's a little, you know, it's a little annoying. I'm wanting to go to bed now.
Okay.
And it stopped immediately.
Wow.
I mean, instantly.
As soon as you said that's enough.
As soon as I said that's enough, it stopped.
Wow. Okay, so now that was midnight Thursday night, you say?
Yeah, somewhere
Okay,
around
so then
midnight.
it would have been the very early hours before it was light out, just a few hours later of Friday morning, that somebody was right outside the window of the cabin going, "Whoo! Whoo! Whoo!" And like I said, this is only about a quarter of a mile away. And we were talking with Sam. I don't remember the details, but I believe Sam also had a visitor.
Yeah, when she was here yesterday, she was telling me about the hoop visitor that
Yeah,
she had at
and
her
her
house.
place is about halfway between yours and mine.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
yeah.
as a crow flies, it's just right there.
I know.
You
Yeah. So they were making the rounds. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, the sound that sound of the card shuffling or card and spokes that I was describing, and then you played your recording that you had made 10 months earlier.
Yeah, it was from last January when we first started putting recorders out in the woods.
And this is I can honestly, emphatically state that I have never ever heard this sound before, ever.
We've not only recorded that same sound out behind the cabin, but when we went down to Ocean Shores last winter, I think it was February, we had left one of our recorders at Sandy's sister's boyfriend's gifting area down there. We left it out there one night and we had picked up the same sound there, although that recording, it wasn't really close to the recorder, it was more distant, but it was the exact same sound.
Yeah, when you played it in the store, I recognized it instantly. Instantly.
I thought you were going to fall over.
Well, I was jumping up. I was trying to be a little bit dignified because I'm an adult, so I wanted to be dignified about it. But when you played it, it validated what I heard, and I recognized it, and I was like, pissing my pants, jumping up and down. I was so excited. I was like, oh my God. It was validating to hear what I had heard.
Right on, that's cool.
That somebody else had heard it too. But I've never heard I've not had any of the whoop whoops. I've not had any of that.
No, okay.
And I also, I don't go out looking for them or anything like that. I don't know that I do anything. I thank them for their glyphs, and I talk to them when I'm outside, even though obviously I can't see them. When I'm out here, I talk to them.
That makes a big difference.
If I notice a glyph, which I'm getting better at recognizing, because you and Sam have been teaching me. Before, I would have never recognized them.
Yeah.
Or I would have looked at it and gone, huh, that's weird, and kept going.
Yeah.
But now that I kind of recognize them and I thank them for it, and I've left a couple of my own glyphs that they've rearranged.
And since I was here, maybe a month ago, and we talked about glyphs, and that's when you cleared out the area around your yard. That's when the activity started happening again, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so I was here a couple of weeks ago, and I told you about glyphs, and you cleared out your whole yard so that you'd have a clean slate like I did.
I raked it all up so it was perfectly clean, and the sticks that you see horizontally in here, I put 3 sticks here, 3 sticks here, and 3 here.
Which I think is really cool how you did that.
Yeah, and these sticks are the ones that were from the glyph that we're going to go to next. That I picked up the sticks from that glyph and I put them in here as I raked that whole area clean, so I would know it was a clean slate and I knew where the sticks were.
Okay, now you're referring to a glyph that we found here that day a few weeks ago. That glyph is no longer here, but we have a new one. Yes. That just appeared yesterday. While Sam was here visiting you.
Sam was here, and we were no more than 20 feet, 25 feet away. We never heard anything. We never saw anything. But let me go back. 1 stick was taken from here, and 1 stick was taken from here. So there's only 2 here and 2 here now, but there's still 3 on the bottom.
All right. Okay. So, now let's go over there, and you can show us what you found.
Okay.
Okay, so we're not really showing you much other than what we want you to see here, just for privacy's sake for Kris. So where we were just looking, the glyphs, the sticks that she had placed in that little tree, these appeared here, which is what?
20 feet?
Probably, yeah, about 20 feet from
maybe
where they were left.
More? Yeah. So Sam and I were walking around yesterday on the property here, just within about 25 feet of where we're standing right now. We were looking at different glyphs. This area was completely raked clean. There was no sticks here at all because I had completely raked it to give it a blank slate. We were walking around for 10-15 minutes, like I said, within probably about 20-25 feet of this. We came back around and this was here. So in that 10-15 minute time span while our backs were turned, this appeared.
That's really
We heard
awesome.
nothing, we saw nothing, we smelled nothing. We had no indication until we came back and saw that.
Wow, that is so cool. And you believe this was actually made, at least 2 of these sticks came from the ones that you had in that tree?
Yes.
Because you had left 3
in
and
each
3.
one.
Yeah.
And of the 2 that are of these 2, I can't speak to, but I'm pretty sure that this longer curved one came from the what we just showed you.
Wow.
Where I had cropped them.
Wow, that's really cool.
But yeah, there was nothing here. We had just been standing here talking about how I had raked all this up and made it a clean slate. We were literally standing right where we are right now. And there was nothing here. Nothing.
Right on. Okay, so while I'm here, there's something else that I kind of wanted to talk to you about that we hadn't gotten recorded yet. When we were setting up our September camp out, you were helping me out with it.
Yep.
So while I was taking carloads of stuff from Greenwater up to our campsite, you were waiting there and watching the stuff while I was going back and forth. And when we while we were unloading our first carload full of stuff, something happened. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, you and I were unloading there at that spot, and I saw something went running past, and I thought it was first I thought it was Gabby because it looked just like Gabby's outline running, but of course Gabby wasn't with you because the car was full.
Yeah, I wasn't going to pick her up until we were done moving stuff.
Right, so Gabby wasn't there, but I saw this plain as day, Gabby shape, Gabby size, dark brown, Gabby colored, running not far from where we were across it was a very large campsite, cleared area.
It was the far side of our camping area.
The far side. Just ran right through there, and it went behind a tree, a big tree, and I kept waiting for it to come out on the other side while my brain is trying to work out what the hell it is. I thought at first it wasn't Gabby, so I thought, well, maybe the people camped nearby had a big dog, but there was no dog, and it never came out from behind this tree. And there was never any noise, there was nothing, and I turned to you, and I said, what the hell was that? What
You asked me where Gabby was.
Yeah, So we walked over there to look, and there was nothing, no claw marks going up a tree, no bear cub, no bear, nothing.
If it had been a bear going up that tree, we would have easily been able to see it. We'd have heard it. There'd have been bits of bark coming down. Yeah.
We didn't hear or see we didn't hear any noise. We didn't see any footprints, any tracks, or anything. When we walked over there.
And something else that's interesting about that is it was only, 3 days after Sandy and I had been at my gifting area, and my camera had died, and I turned just in time to see what I thought was Gabby running up the trail, and then it turned and ran, and then Gabby came from behind me and ran it off. But not running it off like she kept running or chasing or attacking, anything like that. It was like she was playing. She ran and turned and came back like she expected it to come behind her, like they were going to play chase. But I never saw it again. I only got a glimpse of it, and my first thought was, too, that it was Gabby.
For something so large to be able to be silent, running across, because it wasn't that far away from us, and it wasn't noisy there. There was the river noise nearby, but it wasn't overwhelming.
It was really low.
But it was definitely Gabby size, Gabby shape, and it was moving quick.
That's
and
awesome.
I have no idea. It went behind that tree. It was clear opening on either side of the tree. There was nowhere it could have been hiding, no bushes or anything. And it was just gone.
Just kind of like what happened at the camping area. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much, Kris. I really appreciate you sharing this with us.
You're welcome.
And keep me posted.
Always.
All right.